Welcome to the Sunday Comics Brunch, where we dine on comics and comics headlines, hosted by Mr. Anderson and Meredith Logren. Join them and their guests as they go over the comics headlines from this week and their projects, brought to you by the Comics News Wire and Geek Insider. Warning and disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this live feed are those of the guests, speakers, and or hosts, and do not necessarily reflect the beliefs, official policies, ethics, or positions of the content providers, advertisers, hosting sites, groups, or entities attached to this programming. Viewer discretion is advised. We're here. It is the Sunday Comics Brunch. Don't mind me if I'm a little bit of pain today. I just took some Advil. I'm sure it'll warm up my back eventually. I'm Mr. Anderson, and I'm a lazy person, so here you go. Mr. Anderson is the unboxable advocating creator known as the devilish comics creator who will tempt you with his devilish tales. He creates books about fetish, monsters, and more, and offers free spanks and hugs. He also teaches morals with farts. Check out the Comics Devil by going to MrAnderson.com. All right.
I need a fancy, snazzy, jazzy hands video.
I don't do jazzy hands. I don't until I get paid to make jazzy hands. I'm not doing jazzy hands.
You need a little jazzy hands in your life. You need a little jazzy hands in your life.
We all need a little jazzy hands in our life.
I do so much. I do so much already, Meredith. I don't need jazzy hands. I've got flash hands. Okay, I get 10 videos done in the time it takes a person. I'm just saying. Just saying. With all your jazz hands, I've done 10 videos. Go ahead, Meredith. Tell them about your link tree, Meredith. Tell them about your link tree.
Hey, you know what? We're twinsies today. Look at that. Look at
that, Batman.
We did not even coordinate, but yeah, I am Batman. No, seriously, I am Meredith Logren. I am the associate editor over at Geek Insider, as well as the executive producer of the Geek Insider podcast. We are broadcasting to Geek Insider, Comic Book Advocates, and a few other places. Make sure that you follow us. You can also find all of my links on linktree.com. Did your stock go up, Rob?
I hope so.
I don't know. Yeah. Linktree.com/MEREJ99. You do a search for that and you're going to find me. I'm all over the place. Who else are we going to? Who am I passing the mic to?
Anyone you want. Go for it.
Luanga. Is that how I say your name?
Beautiful. First try. Nailed it. Love it.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
So my name is Luanga Lunuwami. I'm the founder of Zelfa Comics and Collectibles, and on YouTube, I'm the homemade game guru, the madman of cardboard crafts. Lifetime comic book and collectibles and action figure and everything geek. And I'm also the publisher of a comic book series called Paper, Rock, Scissors, and Stuff Wars, where I took the hand game rock, paper, scissors and brought it to life as a planet-wide war for survival and dominance.
I love that so much.
Awesome.
See.
Hey, I'm C. Michael Lang, independent artist, done work for Silverline, Continuum Comics, and other things coming up. Of course, you may know me as co-anchor of Week Ended, where we talk about mainstream and indie comics in the same stream, because to us, comics is comics. So, and then, of course, you know me right here being held hostage every Sunday.
Right. Never let them choose. Always drag them here. You have a file.
Wait a minute. Whatever happened to horse? Here's water. Now, are we drowning the horse now?
No, some horses you just have a file on, and the horse knows it has to do. This is your file. Oh, you're coming? Okay, good. I'll put this back in the drawer. No, but how's everyone doing? First full weekend of spring. We are here. Things are looking different now. I was just at a show yesterday. Not a big one. It was a signing. I got to hang out with Richard Rivera, Andrea Molinari. We got to hang out. It was awesome. I can't tell you how awesome it was. And I sold books. We sold Cat Dad and Supermom to fans, and it was awesome. It was really, really cool. And I did add it. As a matter of fact, we can talk about that. For the first time ever, we are streaming live in Continuum Comics because we want the people who are supporting Continuum to get to know us. So there you have 3 people in this room who work with Continuum. Give us some time. Well, maybe we'll get him to bring some rock, paper, scissors, shoot to Continuum too.
Hey,
you know, the door is always open for new creators with our Continuum thing. But enough about us. I do want to get onto the rock, paper, scissors thing. You guys want to watch a cool video?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, I got to switch rooms. I got to go back to my room in the StreamYard because it's where we have all of our videos. So where is it? Here it is. Paper, rock, scissors. Away we go.
Hey everyone, my name is Luonga Nwami, and I am the creator and writer of one of the weirdest comic book series out there since Flaming Carrot and Milk and Cheese. That series being Paper, Rock, Scissors, and Stuff Wars. Since the first issue launched in 2016, this series has taken the hand tournament game we all know and love worldwide and transformed it into a brutal planetary war between living kingdoms of rock, paper, scissors, plastic, anvil, and soon water and sand. Although this is a far-off world inhabited by cartoony living elements, hard-hitting subjects such as slavery, genocide, revenge, and hatred, the idea of being a superior race and using violence for the quote-unquote greater good come into play. The ideas of unity, faith, and forgiveness for atrocities are also in play. After 2 previous successful Kickstarter campaigns for issues 2 and 3, myself and my amazing superstar artist Hugh Rookwood, who has done powerful and highly sought-after variant covers for the likes of Image Comics, IDW, and Aftershock, are launching this final campaign to wrap up this limited series with issue number 4. For those of you who have read the previous issues up to this point, the final issue will answer some key questions like, why did the scissors attack paper in the first place? What is their end goal? Why did the plastics allow Paper Prince Teflor Jr. to steal the hardening agent? Where were the kingdoms of sand and water all this time? Why does the war bother the anvils to the point that they're willing to destroy everyone to achieve peace? Will Norblade's plan to become the leader of the Scissors' metallic empire work? Issue number 4 will tackle all of that and then some. But to do that, we need your help in backing this campaign to get to that finish line. And to ensure you get our very best, the best we can offer, we reached out to some amazing new and legendary comic book artists to provide variant covers and pinups. We hope you'll join us on this crazy journey and help complete this limited series. We have some big plans in store for this concept once the trade paperback is completed, and we want you to be part of it. Thanks for your help, and all the best.
Oh, wow.
That cover with the scissors coming in, oh my God, that thing is amazing.
That cover, the first one, the one with the baby paper and the scissors coming behind it. There's an artist here, Daniel Wong. Like, he's done work, like, just absolutely amazing artist. And back in 2016, when I first wanted to come out with this concept, the first print, I just told him, listen, I told him the basic premise. I was like, I just want a cover where scissors is attacking paper. And then he just created that. And the cover alone, so because I'm in the second print, where the Kickstarter that we're going to talk about is for issue 4 to wrap up the series. But the first issue, that one, we got into the second print because that cover alone sold the book at comic book conventions. Once they saw the cover, they're like, I just want the cover.
Yeah.
Right.
But I bet it's one of those things where, you know, because I've bought books, you know, especially after 2020, you know, we're all locked in and you don't get an opportunity to flip through the pages. And I bought a couple of covers based solely on covers. And then I open it up. I'm like, what the hell is that inside? You know, and I have a feeling that because just seeing some of the interior art from your video, that I would not be disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, comic books is that medium where you can judge a book by its cover. You know, we're in that age where it's all about variant covers and all that kind of stuff. But the cover, I hope, lures people in. The story keeps them.
I just think it's fantastic. I think it's a criminal act that you only have 40 backers right now. I think you should have 140 to 200 backers. This is amazing. How many issues are you in now? 4?
Yeah, it's a
right?
4-issue limited series. It's a 4-issue limited series. So we did issues 1 to 3, and we already onto the second print of issues 1 and 2. And this is for issue number 4 to wrap it all up. It's going to be a larger issue. Most of them are 20 to 24 pages. This one's going to be about 36 to 40. That wraps up pretty much the whole thing, but still sets it up for an ongoing series down the line. And we're also going to do a trade paperback, which we're going to then send to distributors like Diamond and Lunar and all the rest of them. So, and in your comment about the 40 backers, I actually had a conversation with some colleagues, because I know many people in the independent comic book business. And, you know, I had one person contact me and say, you know what, it's amazing. You only have 40 backers, but you actually have more backing than I do with 68 and 70. Yeah. And so I found myself lucky that, yes, I have a small amount of backers, but they back large. So the average backing of my thing is about $200. So I count myself lucky that it's more about those who see the potential than just having the numbers game. And I know for a concept like this, because it's so far out there, it's so weird, it's a lot of work to get people on board.
Yeah, but it looks really good. I mean, that's some really fantastic art, black and white and color. So it's
yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm really surprised only at 42.
Well, I'm glad to have you guys on board. And my artist is Hugh Rookwood. I have to give this man a shout out. He's an acclaimed artist in just north of Calgary in Alberta. He's Department of Truth. Most people know that Image title is red hot right now. He did one of the hot variant covers for that. He did Transformers versus Back to the Future. He did a book called Endings for Aftershock. He's just done so much work, and he came on board a few years ago, and he said, I want a piece of this. I want to work on this with you. So I'm blessed to have such a talented artist who could bring my dream to life.
So did he do the character designs too, or was that?
Well, originally I had an artist. So the history of this is, again, 2016 with that crazy covers with scissors and the baby paper. Daniel Wong was the cover artist, but a man named George Leon, who's a Navy veteran who lives in Camas, Washington State, a good friend of mine. We call him the Dude. He's like the Big Lebowski. He is the Dude. He did the original artwork for #1 as a favor to me. And he wasn't able to continue on because he had so many other responsibilities. But together we fleshed out my characters and got that done. So then Hugh came in to be my ongoing artist, and then he just redesigned the characters in his own style by using the original templates that were created for it.
Yeah, because I can imagine trying to come up, hey, I want some character designs for scissors and some paper and some rock. And they did a fantastic job. You could tell what is what, and it looks good. They have different characteristics to them that are really, really stand out.
And that's the beauty of Hugh's artwork. Like I give my artists like the relationship between an artist and a writer. I give him the script. I give basic instructions, but I let him interpret things how he wants. I let the artists do what they do best instead of micromanaging them. Like, here, you got my instructions. You go nuts. Even with panel design, I have an idea of how a panel's supposed to work, but you are the artist. You're the one who dictates how that panel's supposed to work out based on your skills. So it's great. But yeah, I want people to see that these characters have personality. It's not just simple rock beats scissors, scissors beats paper, paper beats rock. It's way more complicated than that and nuanced. And I want you to know who Norblade is. I want you to know who Samhain is, who are two different scissors. I want you to know who Rocknar is versus Magmus. So Hugh did an amazing job doing that.
You know, I want to speak about that, communicating with the artists and the letterists and things like that, because we're all creators here. And so when you said that you kind of give the artist creative license, when you do that and they come back and it's unexpected and it's good, it's great. You know, you're like, oh, wow, you know, you saw something that maybe I didn't see. But how do you react if it's not so good?
You know what? I guess I am lucky. I've been doing this for some years now. I'm not sure if you could see it. I had another book, a children's book called Pedley Ann, Evangelo Pedley Ann. I've done a horror series as well. I've published all different types of books. But eventually you get to a zone with certain artists who you've worked with enough times that you understand each other. Just like Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I've spoken to them. I've hung out with them. Eventually you just get to a rhythm. You just understand each other. So with Hugh, it has not happened. It has never happened. I pretty much, because my notes are very detailed. Many times laughs. My scripts are extremely detailed. Where I tell the angles, what they're supposed to be looking at, and then from there he knows, okay, this is what Lou's looking for. Let me put my spin on it. And every single panel, every single page he's ever sent back to me, I'm like, dude, this is gold. I have nothing to complain about.
So, what was it? Do you still have your first script?
Yeah, I have all of them.
Yeah. I wonder what that looks like compared to what you have now, because I know for me, I started off with prose. And so trying to script it out and saying, well, I'm going to give the artist creative license. So I had like really probably no details except for what was in the prose itself. And I find myself now kind of going into the, fourth and fifth story that I'm working on that I am adding more details because I have a better feel for it. Yeah. What was your first script compared to what it is now? Probably apples and oranges, right?
Oh, definitely. Just like artists progress, writers progress. So yeah, I have my first script was kind of like all over the place too. You're first creating this concept in this world, and there's even a couple of errors that only I would know of. Where there's a bit of confusion on which characters were supposed to do what. So I didn't fully explain it properly. But now on script number 4 for the last issue, which of course is a lot bigger than the rest, I specify, okay, this paper was supposed to have this features goes here, this paper with this feature. So a 1-page script for many of my scripts goes on like, for 4 panels, goes on 2 pages because I'm being that descriptive. But he appreciates that because, he wants to understand what I want because this is my book. And then from there, he'll throw in his touches, knowing that, okay, this is what Lou generally wants. And I left him enough spaces for words because I also letter my own books. I hate lettering with a passion.
Yes, I do too. I'm learning that I really don't like it.
Yeah. But you do what you need to do because like I do know people who letter, but again, it's not in the budget. Because even with the Kickstarter, it's to pay the artist, that's the main thing, but also to pay for the books. I don't even actually pay myself anything out of this as the writer and creator. I just want to see my books done. That's all that matters to me. Before, I used to make my money at Comic-Cons. I would take these, and then, once I'm in a Comic-Con atmosphere, I'm a machine. I'm usually a quiet, loner type person, but when it comes to selling, I need to do what I need to do. But hopefully we could get back to that. No Comic-Cons have started up here. That's why I'm happy to hear that you had that event to go to. That's awesome. I'm still waiting for that to come back. I miss conventions and signings and all that. I know right now. Yeah.
In Florida, we're restarting the engine. Continuum Comics haven't even announced where we're going, but we already have 5 shows lined up. Continuum will be in 5 shows. One of them in North Carolina, which I've been clear about, will return to Raleigh. We will be at MegaCon, Continuum Comics. You guys are hearing this for the first time, but we will be there. I will be bringing Continuum books with me to a Suncoast Comic-Con here in Central Florida. So that'll be an interesting one. We will be going to, what's that other one? We have another one coming up. They're 2-day shows. Central Florida Comic-Con. We'll be at that one as well. Continuum will be there. So we have a lot, and this is all in the next 60 days. 60 to 90 days. We're gonna hit the ground. Right? May 1st, I'll be back at the comic book store, the Collective I was at yesterday. I will be back that day for the Cthulhu Invades Oz grand opening special. They're going to have food trucks. It's going to be a fantastic day. It's a great store. I like the people behind it. I'm even going to run into to creators I haven't seen in a long time. I don't know if they've announced, so I'm not going to say their names publicly, but it's going to be exciting. I can't wait. So I'm super excited. But back to this amazing project. I want to quickly ask, what age group is this geared towards?
Okay, so originally I tried to do a balance where it has violence, but it's cartoony violence. So originally I aimed it for ages 7 and up. But the funny thing is, when I went to comic book conventions, and as a funny story, so again, I had the 2 books, Pedley, and this one I made when my daughter was born in 2012. Very cute, more geared to girls and whatnot, and I had rock, paper, scissors. I sold out of, I wish I had a copy of that first cover. I don't even have a copy of it. It's sold out. But I had both. So the violent paper, rock, scissors cover versus the Pedley Ann cover. And this little girl, I'll never forget this, 4 years old. And the parents are like, "Hun, if you want a comic book from this gentleman, choose one." And she points to the rock, paper, scissors one with the scissors chopping up the paper. And the mom's like, no, don't you like the cute one with the pedal characters? She's like, no, I want that one. And she was looking through, and it made my day. And the parents are looking through it, and it's like, actually, this is not bad. So even a 4-year-old could appreciate it. So, and I put a lot of deep themes, like again, the papers committed genocide against the scissors commit genocide against the papers. And there's xenophobia, there's it's a war, but yet I tried to write it and balance with Hughes Rookwood's artwork that it's not slap you in the face. It's not trying to be woke. I don't want anything to do with that. It's about just bringing these themes out there and, seeing how it's resolved. So yeah, kids can get into this because there's in the original first print, there was blood in that first print. And the second print, I edited the blood out. I didn't want it in there. And that made the difference. So now, yeah, young kids enjoy it too. I've had no complaints.
And I love that. I love when there are books who help generate conversations. Like, what is that? And even with dialogue, with expanding your vocabulary and stuff like that. People see a word. Maybe it's me. I don't know. I'm kind of weird, but I see a word and I don't understand it. It's like I'll go look it up and go, oh, and it's expanding my literal horizons a lot of times. So I can really appreciate that.
Well, that's the beauty of comic books. Like a little history on me. I got into comic books back in 1987 with Silver Surfer #4. I was not a reader as a kid at all. I hated books. As a desperation play, my father bought me. He went to the newsstand, is Series 3 of Silver Surfer. He bought this comic book of this metallic guy on a surfboard in space, gave it to me, and instantly I was sold. Instantly, I was just like, oh my God, what the hell is this? And then I discovered the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I'm a massive fan on. And I was like, mutant turtles living in a sewer, eating pizza and fighting my mind was blown. And so comic books, I think even to this day, even with geek culture, what it is, comic books don't get their due or their respect. There are millions upon millions of kids who are readers purely because of comic books. Comic books are literature. So it's like, yeah, and the things you've learned, like, many of the classic Ditko and Kirby and Stan Lee books, there were words in there, and yeah, you would go to a dictionary and look them up. That comic book introduced me to that word. So, yeah, this medium's awesome. Yeah.
And I know that Rob's story was with the dyslexia. I mean, comic books really got you into reading and the love of writing, I would say.
Yeah, mine's a little different because mine starts with a cartoon. Because it started with a cartoon with the dyslexia, you don't have to read a cartoon. You can just see it. But I fell in love with these characters called the X-Men. They were very different at that part of my life. I was just starting puberty and suddenly realized I had something called a fetish. And at the time, I didn't know what it was. And this is not a good time to discover in timelines, too. It was the late 80s. It was not a supportive time. And a little kid turning around trying to tell anyone, hey, I keep having these fantasies about tied up people, would not have gone well. I would have been on so many medications. I would have been in so many things. So I felt like this freak of nature and I had trouble getting along with other kids my age because my mind was on more adult topics and I didn't really understand think, and their social structure, to this date, I still struggle with social structures. And that turns out to be because I also have a touch of Asperger's that went undiagnosed, like my dyslexia went undiagnosed. And they were calling me a retard in this point of my life. So I felt like the stupidest human being in the world that no one liked. And I was never going to be anything because there was something wrong with me. I thought I was going to be the Joker. I was getting hair dye for green, trying to figure out how to start my gang because I was going to be a bad guy. Found the X.
And try to figure out how to get them to dress like clowns.
Yeah.
How do you get people to do that?
Money. It's always money. That's all it is. Just money. So I saw this cartoon. It was these people who were freaks of nature. They didn't fit in. They didn't have a place they really belonged, but they belonged together. And I was hooked. Yeah. And then I went from the X-Men, which was the pride of the X-Men, to the actual comic book, and half the characters were gone. It was during a storyline where they had blown up the team. Kitty Pryde was missing. Wolverine at the time was missing. I believe I jumped on right when they were hiding, and it was Scott and Dazzler, and I didn't know who Dazzler was. She wasn't in the cartoon.
Yes,
Dazzler chick. But then I read it anyway, and then Gambit came out, and then Deadpool came out, the Mutants, the X-Force. Oh my God, I was blown away. I was hooked, and I went from a reading score because I didn't know how to read because of my dyslexia, and they were just testing me as I started getting into comics. I already started. The way I learned to read was a dictionary on the left side of the table and a comic book on the right. So anyone who ever tells me comics don't have big words, they don't know shit. They don't. Yeah. Or to use a bigger word, they are uneducated buffoons.
But I feel your story.
Imbeciles.
I was a depressed kid. Like, the irony is that my father got me into comic books, but then he tried to destroy them all when I really got into collecting because he thought it was a waste of time. And I went through a horrific depression as a teenager. And it's a cultural thing, you know. Growing up in my household, depression was nothing. You have nothing to be depressed about. So comic books were an escape for me. They were my way. And yeah, I was a nerd back when being a nerd was not a good thing. When being a geek was not a good thing in the 80s and 90s, where you were shunned. But you open up a comic book and you just escape into another world. And they got me through those depressive years. It's absolutely amazing what comic books can do. And even the issues. I remember reading Mouse, the one with the mice, the graphic novel about the concentration camps and what happened. And I was blown away by that. Like when it was at the library, and I was like, comic books can do this too. And I was like, yeah, deep, powerful stories. And I was like, yeah, this is me. And then when I discovered Neil Gaiman and got into when I had my Sandman years and Vertigo years, and again the depths of the stories, and I was like, well, I'm just blown away by it. But yeah, I feel for you because my teen years were very, very difficult too, and I know for many of us they were difficult. That's why I find it so. I think it's a beautiful thing that geek culture has exploded the way it has, and I bumped into a girl at a Comic-Con. Well, I should say a grown woman with kids now. She laughed at me back in grade 11 when I was under a tree reading Spider-Man, and then I bumped into her at a Comic-Con when I had my own table, and she's there with her kids. And I was like, yeah, we were reminiscing, and I was like, do you remember when I was reading that Spider-Man comic book and you were laughing at me for reading baby books? And she's like, no, I don't remember that. And then she stormed away. And I didn't mean it to insult her or anything, but it just made me laugh how things have changed. Where someone with that comic books were dumb baby books. Now it's the thing.
And I have to say, my entire life I've been writing prose. And so this year I had made a decision that I was going to make a comic book. I gave myself a 1-year deadline to make a comic book. And it is the hardest form of writing that I have ever done. Anybody who thinks that this is easy needs to get their head checked. I mean, seriously. And quite honestly, okay, because I'm 49, I'll be 50 this year. I'm glad that I waited this long to get the knowledge that I have for what I've done before, and to be able to take that and shape it and do what I'm doing now. And I'm telling you, for the longest time, I'm like, I didn't know. The joke was, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. Guess what? I want to do this. I want to make comic books. I want to make good stories. And I want that to be so visually appealing that people want to buy those books more so than the prose. And that's not to say that I'm giving up on prose. I still love prose. I love storytelling in all forms, but I'm so glad that in a way I kind of waited to expand into this form of writing. It is so enriching for me and very, very challenging. I mean, I'm dedicating all of my new white hairs to Continuum Comics. Let me tell you, it's
There we go, sister. Getting the white hair.
Right.
You know, it's funny watching Meredith grow over this last year, and she was like, "Oh, I'll just take my time." I'm like, "That's not how comics work. Let's get to work." And I probably begrudgingly dragged her faster than she was willing, but she's kept up for most of it. I think the lettering definitely was something she didn't expect, and she's got experience. And I'll be honest, she's got some skill to it. She's got some proficiencies to it that I don't see a first time letterer ever have. There weren't things I had to explain, and she had mentioned that. Sorry, allergies. She had mentioned that was from her past newspapers, and you know that kind of stuff does translate, and it's amazing to watch people grow, and that's what you want to see. Comics and their inspiration, and there's so much history in comics. I mean, does anyone know that Stan Lee won an award for writing a Bird's Eye commercial?
No,
I didn't know that. I'm listening to his biography, and the things he wrote, you wouldn't even know that he wrote because they don't talk about it. They all want to rip Stan Lee down, and I know there's back and forth about it. But when you're in a creative pod, I mean, there are ideas that are now out there that I have created, and I know it, and I won't brag about it. I won't talk about it. But even in this room, people have seen the things I've done and how it's starting to change things. It's collective mind sometimes. People have inspired me. I inspire people. So, like, I love comics for that because we grow from each other, and that I understand ownership rights. I'm not trying to demean that. Kirby should be entitled to a lot more than he had. I'll give him that. But remember, it wasn't Stan Lee who did it. It was Marvel. And if you listen to how much Stan Lee got screwed by Marvel, you would be like, oh, I didn't know. Because you know why you didn't know? Because unlike these childish creators that we have nowadays, he didn't run anywhere and cry about it. He kept working, kept his chin up, and he stayed employed the rest of his life. Take that as a lesson. Sometimes you take it in a place you don't want to take it, but you keep being able to make content, and that's my goal. You'll see me bitching less out loud about people until I have to talk about something. And the only time I'll have to talk about something is if it's big enough that everyone cares. If 3 or 4 people are crying about something, let it go. A few people take little shots at you, let it go. Be a professional. You know, like that's what you have friends for. Go bitch to your friends. Draw funny faces on them if you're an artist, you know? That's what you do. You vent in the background. So you talk about, like, you know, Google searching them and finding their address and doing a Jay and Silent Bob thing about a review. But you don't do it. It's a joke. You have fun with people in the background. Be professional. Create things like this this paper, rock, scissors, and stuff. We have to talk about the flaming carrot, though. We haven't talked about the flaming carrot. I'm not okay with that.
Can I just add in one thing before I get to flaming carrot? I love the point you made about the beauty of the community of comic books. You were showing there all the variant covers that were part of this. I reached out to people like Dan Coate, the co-creator of Zen the Intergalactic Ninja, Bill Maas, the creator of Nera X, Michael T. Gilbert, the creator of Mr. Monster. These people are friends of mine. And I was like, do you guys mind doing a variant cover for me, for my comic books? And without hesitation, all of them are like, not a problem. Some of them within one day, they already got it done for me. Because they know we're the beauty of comic books, what makes comic books different than any other business out there is that, yes, we're all trying to make sales, but our fan bases are our fan bases. I'm not trying to take people away from Spider-Man or some fans away from your books. You know, people are going to like what I like. They're going to like what you're going to like. And we're all in the same boat. So one of the reasons I miss Comic-Cons is seeing these friends, seeing these acquaintances. But even on Facebook, the vast majority of my friends on there are in the comic book business. And even with my campaign, I'll go promote someone else's Kickstarter campaign, even though it's at the same time as my campaign, because I want you to succeed, and they'll do the same for me. And I said, that's the beautiful thing. So I'm blessed to have all these variant covers by some big names and emerging names in the industry. from other publishers, and yeah, like I said, I'm just so happy about it.
Yeah, we rise together. That's the end result. We rise together. But we have to get onto this carrot. I need to know more about the carrot.
Yeah, Flaming Carrot was one of those very oddball. Like I have a whole bunch of issues that like I wish I took one out. I know you said you were blown away by Flaming Carrot. I have issue number 1 somewhere, but it's just such a Flaming Carrot and Milk and Cheese were those 2 books that were just so out there. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Flaming Carrot, and Milk and Cheese. Those are big inspirations for me, just because they were the type of books that, at their face value, made no damn sense until you got into them, until you gave them a chance, and then you see they're just brilliant books. And so, yeah, that's why I mentioned them in my video there, because I know when those books first came out, they got the same attitude, like, what is this? Oh, a Flaming Carrot, Milk and Cheese going bad. What kind of nonsense is this? But they organically built up their audience and their fan following, and now they're cult classics. And that's what I'm hoping my book will become one day.
No, I'm going to help. Forget that. I'm going to help make it a cult classic. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
My son loves rock. What'd you say, C?
I said, yeah, it's been around since a long time. Used to see Flaming Carrot all the time in Wizard magazine a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my friends had told me about it one time, and I'm like, "Are you kidding with me?" I thought it was like a literal joke about it. And I read Wizard, so I might have actually seen it. I might have just think it was a joke, but like when I saw this, I'm like, oh my, this is a real thing. Oh, my life is ruined because it's all been horrible. I didn't know about that. Like it reminds me, to me, what you're creating would go great right next to like a Rick and Morty. Between a Rick and Morty and a Family Guy on Cartoon Network.
To be completely honest, when I used to be doing Comic Cons and I sold all the previous issues of Rock, Paper, Scissors, the comment I would get every time from people is, go to Adult Swim. Get this on Adult Swim. Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I see that it should be there, right there with Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Rick and Morty, all that stuff. But of course, getting to Adult Swim is not an easy task whatsoever. Even though I did send them a package. But again, who am I? Some people say go to Netflix. Unless you have an agent, Netflix is not going to talk to you. But that being said, my end game, everyone asked me, what is your end game? I was like, getting a cartoon series. I'm an 80s kid. Born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s and 90s. Having a cartoon is everything to me. So once this campaign is done, all my attention is going towards finishing my show Bible, which I thank God I got someone who gave me an example. So I'm just using their example to finish my show Bible. And I made a connection who knows people in the Canadian animation market. And we're going to start shopping, probably by summertime, we're going to start shopping around the series, getting some animation sheets done. And yeah, that's my end goal. I want a cartoon series. That's my obsession. And I've been telling people this, that, everyone talks about, I'm sorry for rambling on. Everyone talks about, the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I actually have a colleague, and he's like, he missed out on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when they first came out in, I think, '84. And I was like, when I introduced my book to him, he's like, oh, this seems cool and it's different. Okay, good luck with that. And I was like, dude, you're making the same mistake over again. You said you regretted not investing in this crazy different book that you didn't get originally. Now it's worth tens of thousands of dollars. Not to say my book is going to be like the Turtles. I'm not arrogant like that. But again, it's something that is everyone believes it's geared towards cartoons. I'm moving it towards cartoons. I'm also developing an app game, an Android app game, as we speak for this as well. So I'm making those moves. So here's your opportunity to, again, take that chance, even get the $15 tier, which is the signed copy of issue number 4. Here's your chance. Invest in something that's new instead of waiting 10 years from now and saying, oh, that Lou guy told me about this. And I was like, good luck, guy, and let it slip through the fingers. I even made the same mistake with Walking Dead number 1. I could have had it when it was on the shelf. Comic book store told me, hey, Lou, you're going to like this, man. Zombies and looks like cowboys. And I was like, zombies and cowboys? Not interested. And yeah, we know how that book did. And We all have those mistakes. I'm hoping people will not make that, that choice with this book. Give it a shot, give it a chance. And if at the least you get some entertainment out of it, at the most, who knows, it might be worth something one day.
Hell yeah.
So, hey,
Right.
Rob, you might actually know a little bit of the universe of Flaming Carrot, because I did not know this. I just learned this now. Do you remember the movie Mystery Men?
Yes.
That came out in 1999. Those characters are actually from Flaming Carrot.
Yep.
With Ben Stiller and all that. Yeah. Casanova Frankenstein.
Dark Horse Presents. It was from Dark Horse Presents when Flaming Carrot was being published by Dark Horse, I believe. And they appeared with Flaming Carrot. Hellboy was with Flaming Carrot. Not Hellboy, sorry. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles made an appearance with them.
Crossover. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I remembered a crossover. That I was going to say that earlier, but I wasn't sure. Yeah.
That's really cool. That's actually, like, I'm sure for you, a dream come true.
Yep.
I think a lot of people were disappointed probably Flaming Carrot wasn't in the movie.
We do want to switch gears a little bit, and of course, you're welcome to stay with us on the show. But there was also something I know that C wanted to share this morning. Speaking of crowdfunding,
let's see. Of course, we have over here. Let me see here. I can pull this up.
Let me pull out my screen.
Give a shout out to our friends over at Indie Volt, and they've got an Indiegogo going right now. Indie Volt revolts. Go ahead.
And as you guys can see, they've barely funded, so you guys can help them out. Make sure this should have a lot more backers than 40. This deserves more. Look at the list of people in there, right? See how many talented people. The covers have been like the driving force right now, but there's so many talented people within this book.
Oh yeah. Not to mention, you get a sneak peek of Only Death Could Save Us #2 in there, and then of course you have these great variant covers you see right there on the side. So absolutely, look at that.
And it's a flip book, right?
I believe so. I believe it is.
You know what? I've been seeing more and more of these like great Kickstarters of indie comics. I was talking to a colleague about this, and because a lack of conventions, and because so many of us are going on Kickstarter to do this, there's so many comic book Kickstarters now. I think more than there's ever been on these websites that it's a lot of them get lost. Because I'm looking at the artwork, this looks great, but there's so many, and then you're going against like Berserk. I know Berserker's done, but just as an example, you're going against these juggernaut publishers like Boom and the rest of them. So that might be a reason why some great Kickstarters like this are not getting the traction that they do. And Kickstarter does have a bias, in my opinion, to certain campaigns than others.
Well, this is just for the record on Indiegogo.
Oh, sorry, my mistake.
Yeah, I don't want people looking on the wrong site for it. This is Indiegogo.
This is Indiegogo. Yeah. Okay.
Well, and that was something that we had discussed when Berserker first launched. You know, there was a big discussion: is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? You know, how dare he comes over to Kickstarter? He's not an indie, and blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, he is. And if you can get a brand name like that talking about your comic book, hell yeah. How many new people are you going to bring to the platform? And, even Rob was saying this. I think it was on Friday when we were talking about it. We were like, hey, if he launches again, I'm going to launch right behind him because it's bringing in all of that money, all new eyeballs. You know, how is that a bad thing?
It's all jealousy. It's oh my God, he's doing this. He's more popular than me. It's childlike behavior. It's unsupportive. It's, oh, if he comes here, and let me tell you, early on when I first got into what it was called indie, the double I indie, because it's all about a person. It's about I. There were people who I came up with who were I didn't realize at the time, very deceitful. They designed things to keep you in a bubble, but that bubble was meant to keep their careers going and not help your own career. It was just enough to give you advice, but not good enough advice where you'll get above them. And it was almost kneecapping people early on. And it took me a while to untangle some of that. And some of that was that early idea that, this can only be for indie. So basically you want to keep something that helps us making money to our small knit group. where we all support each other for the rest of our lives. But if we keep supporting each other and we're not growing, how does that work? Oh, wait, look, Keanu just came and 10,000 new people just subscribed to Kickstarter. So is it a bad thing? Not for my wallet. It's a great thing for my wallet because I'm not even my wallet, but my creative ventures, because Continuum Comics just launched a successful campaign with over 100 backers. We don't know how many of those backers showed up because of that. There were people, I know Mike Seeley said that he was talking to them about Kickstarter, and they knew what Kickstarter was now. A year ago, you wouldn't even know, people wouldn't know what's Kickstarter. Now at least they know the name enough. It was on Newsroom. I didn't even know this. They mentioned Kickstarter on Newsroom. I'm into comics. I watched it a few years ago, did not catch what Kickstarter was. That's how long Kickstarter's been around, but now it's a household name, not just because of Berserk, mind you, but you also had Scott Snyder who showed up. And why? Why? Because you're popular, cannot you not use crowdfunding? What, you have too much money? Let me tell you, you want to know why rich people are rich? Because they keep making money. You don't stay rich unless you keep making money. You don't stay popular unless you keep grinding. So many artists around there twiddling their thumbs, and we've all seen this at a convention. How many of you have seen the artist who's on their phone the whole time and not paying attention to anyone, but wondering why they're still not getting work with IDW or Marvel or DC? And you see it in their artist row where like the famous ones, where none of them are working anymore. Meanwhile, the people who are still working get a bigger banner, they're put in better positions, and they're always interacting with their fans. It's all about attitude, people. It's all about attitude.
Well, if I could speak to the whoa, I got an echo. If I can speak to the Scott, I don't know what the deal is with that. Hold on. Yeah, let me see. Y'all hear me? Okay. Yep. If I can speak to the Scott Snyder thing on there, you know, when you do an Image comic and you put those out in the stores, that first issue goes like that. No matter what it is. So Scott Snyder coming to Kickstarter actually gave more people a chance to get that first volume, that first issue of that comic. I don't think it was just about making money, although that's there, but it also opened it up for a lot more people to get that first issue. And it was when it did finally actually hit the stores, guess what? Sold out.
But it was different on Kickstarter. Yeah. First off, when he went to Kickstarter, it was a different version. You got to see a script version with the art, which is amazing. That in itself. Second, he took none of the proceeds. All the proceeds were for his team because the Image book had been delayed because of what was going on in 2020. We have to stop telling people they can't do things. Shut up and watch how they do them and try to be them. Brian Pulido is one of those guys. We just inducted him into the Creator Hall of Creators, and I'm very excited about that fact. And when he first started going to Kickstarter, I remember, oh, he's taking money away, and that was what people were whispering to each other. And sometimes when you see people you think you admire saying things, you don't stop and go, hey, maybe wait. And I've changed that about myself now. I don't care what I think of anyone. If they say something sideways, I'm going to stand up to the sidewaysness of it. And I remember when he first came out, people were like, oh, he's doing bad things. And I remember going to look at it for myself because we were having a debate about it. Bob Sally had told me, first off, no matter how popular you are, it's a great way to market to places you can't. International backers who don't get to go to a comic book store can see this in a way. Plus PDFs. This is a great way to get rid of PDFs. There's so many reasons that people should be on these crowdfunding sites. And if you think they're taking the money out of your wallet, you're not building a good enough product. Because that means your product can't stand up toe-to-toe. Let me tell you, I'll go up against Brian with Barbara any day. And if he wins, that's fine. It doesn't matter because my book's just as quality as his. And I don't have a problem with that. And if I had the same following as Brian, maybe one day we could have a competitive campaign at the same time. All love, but let's see who makes more. But he earned it for decades of work. And all these little I'll be nice here, these octopuses. All these octopuses using all their tentacles to drag everyone else down to their level because they're not rising up. They don't want to rise up. They don't want to put the work in. They don't want to do what you have to do. They don't want to promote.
It doesn't matter if it's an Indiegogo, GoFundMe, or Kickstarter. It's work. It's a lot of work. Even the guys like Earthworm Jim, and I agree with what you guys are saying. I support Earthworm because many of our retail friends, they have to order stacks and stacks of stuff just to get one book, one variant. Yeah. Here you could go onto the campaign and get whatever variant you want and support your favorite stuff. That's great. But also the what you're saying about the small guys, like even for me, I'm happy where my campaign is. Of course, I would love to make more, but I'm not losing off of this. I had to work, and I tell up-and-coming people who do Kickstarters and ask for my advice, it's a second job, and you have to treat it as a second job. You know, I reached out to you guys. I reached out to other blogs. I'm sending out press releases. I'm contacting my local media. I'm on the phone. I'm on email. This is what I have to do because you have to build out audience. You have to reach out to people. You know, I had to find my email list from old Comic-Cons and try to jog people's memories. These are the things you got to do. I started another incentive where I'm making, again, I said I'm on YouTube where I make 3D cardboard art. You know, I started making, you know, artistic pieces like 3D posters as stretch goal gifts for backers. You know, you have to keep on innovating. And for a lot of new people in this and for like newbie comic creators, they don't fully understand that yet. They don't understand how much work goes into doing these campaigns to make sure you're a success. My first crowdfunding campaign, which was on Indiegogo, was a horrific failure, and that was purely on me. Because I simply put up the campaign, sat back, got my cup of coffee, and I'm thinking, it's going to rain backers onto me. And of course, that doesn't happen. And then I failed. I failed it 2 more times. And then by my 4th, 5th, 6th, and now my 7th one, they've all been successful because I had to learn those lessons and understand it is 100% on me to figure out how to get people to back my campaign.
You know what the worst thing about all this is that we see creators making stretch goals that aren't even within their ability to grab yet. They're talking about how many backers they got before they get any backers. They're talking about stretch goals before they've even made their goal. And then you get the funded in 12 hours. And some people earn that stuff. Don't get me wrong. You earned it. Yeah, whatever. But when you send a message like that to me as a person with a wallet, oh, you funded in 12 hours, so you don't need my help. So now I was going to back you because I thought you had a cool thing, but I wasn't sure if it was for me. But now that I know that you don't need my money, I'm not going to back you. And if I see you at a show, I see you at a show. Oh, well. We funded on Continuum, and I would not allow anyone to talk about how quickly. I would not let anyone like that was one thing I was like, guys, you got to trust me on this. Remember, Meredith, we cannot brag because we're not there. We're not in a place to brag. You don't brag. You know when you brag when you die. When you go up to the gates and you want to get in, that's the moment you brag. Until that moment, don't fucking brag. Unless it's a video game and you just beat the crap out of your friend or someone cheats in a video contest that you should have won and they use your voice without permission. Then you can... We won't even talk about that. We won't talk about that today. My back is hurting. I don't want it to hurt. But you have to. You have to get out of your lane of trying to think that, oh, well, you know, this. Why do you have to be a squid? Why do you have to be an octopus to drag anyone down? Level up. The people doing that are the same little skinny. I'm not going to put a color to it. Usually I'd say white, but I'm going to be nice. Just a skinny person who shows up to the gym who's male, and I don't care. Write me a hate mail that it's a male. Females go to the gym too. It doesn't work because females don't bench as much for this. So leave me alone. So it's like that little skinny person who goes over to the bench who's not ready for the bench, and you see him putting the 45-pound plates on. You see him putting the 45 plates, and everyone in the gym starts stopping. And it's like if there was popcorn, they'd be eating popcorn because they know what's going to happen. This little dude is going to go over there, lift it, and kill himself. And there's like 10 people ready to stop it. It happens all the time, and I once was that little dude because it was you want it. Don't fucking want it. Don't fucking fake it. Earn it. Study it. Become the person who shows up every day. You know how I got in? Everyone goes, Rob, how did you get in such good shape? You're such a big guy now. You're so muscular. I worked my fucking ass off. I skipped sleeping to go to the gym. I ate the right foods. I changed my diet entirely. You have to commit to these things. You have to get up early in the comics. You have to get up early in the morning to go to a show to just be there for your fans. And you might not make great money at that show, but when you're good to your fans, no matter how bad the show is, they'll support you later. That's what this is about. This is about showing your heart and showing your passion. Stop being an asshole who has to rip other people down. And I don't know why I'm on the screen by myself. No one needs to see this. That's torture for the country, Meredith.
I didn't do it. But what I was going to say was, when we were doing our campaign and speaking to not saying, hey, we hit this. It's like, thank you. just thank you. Thank you to the fans. Thank you for the people who are supporting us, who are following us around, because we're, we're out there, we're advocating for other people. It wasn't just the me show. It wasn't just like, hey, I've got a story in here. There was kind of like a running joke because C had a virgin cover, or a premiere cover, I should say, and we wanted to make sure that sold. So we'd sit there and go, Rapers, you want the Rapers cover? But but overall, it wasn't just Enter the Continuum. It was Indie Volt Revolt. It was whatever Kickstarter or crowdfund or Indiegogo was out there that garnered our interest to say, hey, you know what? These guys are really hustling and we want to give them some love too. And that's the thing. We say this all the time. It's like, take your finger and hit that share button, because even though, like, I have to tell you, there have been a couple of times, a few months back where it was just like, oh, I want that Kickstarter. I want that Kickstarter. And it's like, oh, crap. They're all coming out at the same time, and I've got an electric bill. It's like, okay, I got to budget a little bit better here. But you know what I can do? I can share the heck out of it on my social media.
Yeah. And you also show kudos to those who, I don't care if it's $5 or $500. You show respect to everyone who supports you. I said, I'm not about even though I have the 40 supporters, hopefully 42 or 43 now, I'm happy. I'm happy. I don't need 100. It would be nice, but my mind is not there. My mind is on those who, one of my supporters, I won't say her name, I know, but she's from Detroit. She put $5 in. That's all she could put, and I emailed her personally and thanked her for that $5, because that's still $5 that you could have put to groceries or something else. You decided to give it to me, and that means something to me. And all my Kickstarters, in my books, I have a list of the names of every single person who helps my campaign. I don't care if it's $1. You show your respect to those people who believe, because we're introducing something new to people. Doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if it's superheroes or rock, paper, scissors. We're trying to convince someone to take their hard-earned money and give it to me, a complete stranger with a completely new idea. So you always show those respect to people who support you. Not about the numbers, it's about the support.
Yeah, and for every dollar on every one of my campaigns, Meredith knows this, $1 gets no one walks away without a reward, because that's it. That's just, you guys are amazing. You keep us creating. I don't talk, like, we did initiatives this time where the more backers we got, the more initiatives, because I don't want to do stretch goals right away until we hit like milestone moments. Because again, stretch goals, I don't believe bring anyone. Throwing a sticker, I don't want to downplay to my fans. Oh, I'll give you a sticker. You want a sticker? You want a sticker? Here's the sticker. Oh, here, I got a sticker for you. Stickers are cool, don't get me wrong, but you don't use them as incentives. I gave real incentives. We were talking, remember, Meredith? We were talking about, well, you have to earn. You had to earn that one sticker, okay? That wasn't a reward. That was literally earned. You had to put your ass on the line, literally. Literally. So, no, but with these things, you have to. I mean, these people are supporting you in ways that aren't normal because they're overpaying. They're not paying table costs. They're paying shipping. Every dollar absolutely matters. Every person who spends the time to even share your stuff. Oh, my goodness. The people who share, I send them thank yous. I talk to them personally. Thank you for sharing this out. Someone shares it out. I'm there with the link and a heart. That little heart that hugs. I mean, is it a smiley face?
A little smiley face hugging.
Yeah, smiley face with
the heart in it. Yeah. I'm doing that every day, and I'm thanking people, and I'm asking people, and I'm interacting with people. I don't act like a child. I don't blame anyone. When my campaigns failed, that was my planning. I fucked up. It's never there. There was one time it wasn't my fault, and that was with Barbara Unleashed, and that was because I had a Me Too movement group attacking me at every step. And when I vented about it, and I didn't feel good. I had the flu, and I had said some things that I do regret a little bit now because they were a little too honest for general release. But it was like people were saying, oh, well, this or that. And they were talking about something they didn't understand because they hadn't read the book yet. And it bothered me. And I reacted poorly to that moment. And I learned from that moment because I learned when I don't feel good, I have to shut the fuck up and stay off of social media. And I have a rule now. If I have a temperature, I don't go on social media. Because I get grumpy when I don't feel good. I get really grumpy. There's no filter. I'm just suddenly like, I'm Oscar the Rob. I'm Rob the Grouch, I mean. No, but like, yeah, I mean, besides that, and that was a legitimate thing that I had I could have just said, hey, listen, this fell because I got censored unfairly, and I'm dealing with it, and I'll come back. That would have been the stand-up way to do it, not show all your things. We don't have a bump. What are you trying to do a bump for?
I wanted to do a bump because I wanted to ask if you had that $1 video.
Oh, I don't even know if it's still here. I cleaned out some of the things, so I don't know. You're talking about the library one, right? Or the power of $1.
The power of $1.
Oh, not only do I have it, Meredith, but guess what?
Jazzy hands?
No. This is me. I don't do. I got other things to do. I got other things to do.
I'm working on it, you guys. If you're listening, I'm working on it. All right.
This does the job.
It will.
Here we go. The power of a single dollar. One single dollar can help make dreams come true. Every dollar is a declaration of support and belief. It helps the creators and the teams behind the book. Just $1 helps create new worlds and keeps creators creating. There you go.
Nice job.
Done. 60 seconds. That's how long it took that video, Meredith. 60 seconds. Took me longer to play with the goddamn font.
I think because the voiceover sounds very familiar. I think maybe you might have plagiarized yourself, huh? It is possible, folks.
I do a lot of things with myself, let me tell you.
Wow. Oh,
did we play the disclaimer?
Yes.
Did we play the disclaimer? Okay.
Disclaimer was part of the intro. I'm good. I always say you just got out of church and you come watch my show and I give you a reason to go back next week.
Yes, the power of $1. I mean, it's so important. And again, a lot of people spend a lot more on their morning coffee than that, and just that $1, it helps with the algorithms. It helps share it out to the network of people who are following you. But again, if you don't have it, and there is no expectation for that. If it's something that you want to support, or if it's a creator that you want to support, and $1 is all you got, great. And for me, I don't want to take anybody's last dollar. Hit the share button. I'm good with that. Because I think a lot of people forget that even though we have people who are following us and who want to support us, we also want to find people who are new. And when it comes to, and I think, so I'll kind of pivot to Backer Pause. One of the important things about Backer Pause is that when we look at the videos, we're looking at them as creators, but we're also looking at them as consumers. And a lot of times we know the creators who are putting these out. Sometimes we forget that it's like, okay, maybe they don't necessarily have to market to us. How are they going to market to a new person? And I think we have to keep that in mind when we're making our videos and sending out our pitches.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
You always
agree.
want to keep your audience in mind.
Mm-hmm.
No matter if they're old audience or new audience, what have you. Yeah, definitely.
The whole point is getting new people in. It's great to have your existing friends, family, and fan base, but the whole game is getting new people in. And which people sharing. People are more in tune to helping out something when it is someone they know and trust. So when people go out and share, and then they share with someone else, that's what builds your audience. And so, yeah, that's very important. And the share button does mean a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were creating rock paper scissors, I think you kind of have a background in games, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
tell us
started
about,
off
you created board games and everything. That's interesting.
Yeah. Like, I'm not sure if you can see it in the corner. I have a spinning satanic game over there called Do As Satan Says, I did for Halloween. Yeah, I lost. Some people and friends and family actually got very angry with me for that. I'm not a religious person at all. I'm a deist. But it's just a fun party game. But I did that for fun. For rock, paper, scissors, I actually put it up on YouTube because, again, I have my own YouTube channel where I do cardboard crafts. Do chores with my daughter. We did a spinning game, rock, paper, scissors, chores. to determine who does household chores. You know, it just
Oh,
made
wow.
like just created that. And video seems to be doing well in that. But for years, I was actually in the game industry as a small fry, and then pretty much it fell apart after a retailer named Zellers that doesn't exist anymore. Target bought them out before Target folded up here. They pretty much screwed me and my business partner over, and that was it for the toy industry. But I guess it was serendipitous because it brought me to the industry that I've always loved, and that's comic books. So the toy industry was its own thing, but I still enjoy designing. That's what I use my YouTube channel for. Whenever I have a design for something, I'll just whip it together and, you know, show it to people. But I'm putting that kind of game design knowledge towards doing the app game, using the old I'm an Atari kid. I still love my Atari to this day, babied it since '84. And we're trying to use the Atari dynamics to make a game based on rock, paper, scissors. So, you know, my passion for games will never wane.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Especially even those, you'd be surprised. Even those simpler games or what have you are a big target, because especially people our age, I can't sit there and play a role playing game. I mean, you know, one of those RPGs where you spend like Skyrim, you're spending 18 hours playing, and you get what you don't even get. Where's the big boss? They're all bosses. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, you have a very simple game. Like, for instance, remember Angry Birds blew up, and all it was you were just shooting birds or something. So it really, and those app stores, they'll blow up on that. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see it. I really can't.
Well, right now we're going through that what's the term? Reminiscent. Well, we're going through that period where even the younger generation are discovering 8-bit again. You know, I saw a video of these kids playing Contra, one of my favorite games back in the day. And, you know, Double Dragon, Ninja Gaiden, all these old games now are the games today. Yeah. So these games are beautiful now. They are beautiful, like works of art. But when it comes to just the fundamentals, I'll play Streets of Rage or Street Fighter, you know, any day of the week compared to a lot of the games now. And, you know, I want my game to reflect those. And they're also easier to make, too, when you go back to the 8-bit or 16-bit standard. So, like, I'm hoping to have the app game out probably by winter, Christmas. Fingers crossed, because, you know, this is another friend who's working with me as a favor. So, again, blessed as hell to have so many colleagues in the comic books and gaming industry helping me out on this. I love this community, and hopefully get some good stuff going soon.
Well, that's just I have my two sons who are gamers, or 10 and 13, and that's what they like. They actually like to play. You have your Minecraft, obviously, but there's not another game that they're playing that looks. I swear it looks like a Nintendo game. I mean, straight up 2D graphic, 8-pixel, whatever you want to call it, and they're just digging or whatever the case, and they love it. They eat it up. Now you got the other games that are 3D, and sometimes they'll touch on them, but these are the games that they actually spend time with. So it's amazing to me that you have all this technology just to come back to those simple things, you know.
Well, our generation, I tell you, we're all around the same age group. You know, it's our generation that's really spurning all this, because we remember what our child. I feel sorry for kids today. I do. My daughter, who's 8, I love her, but her childhood sucks. Just with everything that's going on right now, it's just the truth. And my wife and I reminisce what it was like growing up, like being kids in the '80s. And you know, you go to your friend's house, you play some Atari or some NES or Sega. Then you get on your BMX, you go out somewhere. You know, no elbow pads on. You just go, and as long as those lights, you're home by the time those lights go on. You're good to go. And it was just fun. So even now as adults, we reminisce and the good and the joy that comes out of it. And I think that translates to our kids. And now they play those classic, simple games, and they see it. They understand it. Like, I'm part of a fan group on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Facebook. And you know what games they're talking about? It's not the newer Turtle games. They're talking about the old NES games. That's all they talk about now. Those classic, fun games from back in the day.
Well, yeah, so I think they're even re-releasing the arcade game, because we talked about that before. It was great, especially when you're in the arcade. You're playing I like the long reaching ones like Leonardo or Donatello, and you're playing that, and then you got 3 other kids that come up, and next thing you know, you're beating the game with 4 other people in an arcade, and you're just having a blast doing it. And you didn't need to have all fantastic effects for that. It was just a fun game.
Exactly. Even Atari's making a comeback. Older, like it almost brought tears to my eye when we had the whole like classic Atari suite for the PlayStation, and she's like, "Dad, I want to play Pac-Man." I was like, "Oh, that makes that feel good. You want to play Pac-Man? Yes, that's what I'm talking about."
Well,
Real
what
quick,
was funny?
Real quick,
What's that? Yep.
the two things killing the industry for games right now, the reason they're going back is one, games are too much like movies. They don't give you enough game time. There's too much. You just want to sometimes beat something up and play a damn game. Go from point A to point B. And that was great about our games. It was point A to point B. No looking for this stupid. You're wasting my time. I'm paying you to waste my time looking for a key. No, I'm Batman. I should know how to do everything the minute I put the. Why do I have to learn how to be Batman? I am Batman. And two, all the freaking things you have to buy now. We used to just buy a game, put it in, and play it.
Yeah,
now you have to sign up for the season pass, the book, the outfits, and the guns, and the things you need to win. By the time you're done, you've taken out a small home loan to be able to beat one stupid game. No, give us content. Give us something we can sit, play, be mindless for 5 minutes. There are gamers out there who have literally lost their lives, have now turned 40 and looking around and going, I finally beat that James Bond game.
Yeah. Well, that's what I say. That new Spider-Man game, you know what I did? I spent 30 minutes swinging around. That was fun. Just swinging around. When you had to go fight somebody, it's like, oh, golly. Really? Okay, again. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
Yeah, like how many hours did I spend playing Pong, on the friggin' Atari? But, it was kind of funny with the kids. It's like World of Warcraft, when that first came out, they were much younger and they wanted like to spend real money on fake gold. I'm like, get out of here. But you know what was fun, kind of tying in the whole generational thing, when Guitar Hero came out and they were playing all of these songs that I grew up with, and I'm like, cool tunes, guys. And they're like, you know this? Like, how dare you? I mean, that's cool. And I'm like, no, that's my music.
Yeah, it's like kind of a gotcha moment. Ha! Gotcha, see?
Yeah.
Told you I was cool.
I told you I was cool. See, I needed a game to let you know.
What's old is good. What's old is cool now. Old music, it doesn't matter the genre. I don't care if it's hip hop, disco, rock, heavy metal. What is old is now, because people are realizing the quality. There was quality to things back then. Yeah. Versus now, which is just pumping out and make as much money as you can. As you were saying, all the add-ins you have to add to everything. Like when I make the app game, when it's done, I'm just putting it out there for free. It's publicity, for my comic book. That's what I'm making it for. Completely for free. Just play the thing and hopefully it gets you interested in the concept. I'm not putting it where some of these games where I'm actually enjoying myself. Then I get to a level I can't get past, and I realize, oh, I have to buy this certain weapon to get past it. Like you a-holes. I don't want to buy something to get past this level. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, screw you! I'm just turning it off and going outside and playing the dirt. There's no fun in the dirt.
Mario didn't need that. All he had to do was find a question box. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Just punch boxes and kick turtles.
Do you ever sit around, though, and worry about your kids and how they're wasting? We do have to start wrapping up in a minute, but I mean, I look at my son and I rip the phone away from him when he gets mad. If he gets mad at losing a game, I take the phone away from him like, you don't get the phone back. There's real life, son. This is not real life. This is stupid entertainment. You will never be upset about that. I broke him of that habit. He plays games. He loses. Throws the phone down now because that shit's not real life. I'm preparing my son for real life. I make him go outside. He's 6 and autistic. He's outside fixing the car with me. I don't treat him like he's autistic. I treat him like he's my son, and I'm teaching him everything. The boy knows how to cook now. He's starting to cook on his own. He's 6. We don't treat our children like the little adults they are. We just treat them like nuisances now in this society, and it's sickening that we do that. Your children are your future. Start investing in them. Start investing in the world. And I'm sorry, I don't know where this came from, but it was a really powerful moment. They said that there's 2 types of people in this world. People who have kids and who get it suddenly what we have to do for the future, and the people who don't understand it. And you can either be one or the other. Because the people understand it, and if this is the term everyone knows, you're making the stack a bit higher for the next generation. And we have to start doing that. And video games they just want your money. They're not entertaining. And I could not care. I care less about PlayStation 5 because they've made games to the point where they're wasting my fucking time, and my time is valuable. Maybe these executives and all these companies don't think my time is valuable, but if I can't beat a game in 2 to 3 hours, I'm not interested in it anymore, because that's all I want. I don't go to the movies to expect it to go on for 3 months. By the way, everyone who cried about Snyder Cut being 4 hours this week, you're all fucking idiots. You're the same people who went out and watched all the fucking Netflix and all the WandaVision for over 12 hours, and now 4 hours is a big deal. Just saying.
Isn't there a pause button? There's a pause button, right?
Remember where you were.
You idiots. It was in chapters. Fucking pause it. You have to have them call and break it up for you. Are you that? This is why we have to remove warning labels. If we remove warning labels, the same people complaining about how long it was wouldn't be with us anymore. I'm just saying. Let them go outside and play until the lights go out, and let's see, let's clear out the world.
Yeah, if you want chapters, Paper Scissors is in chapters. 1, 2, 3, 4.
There you go.
There it is.
Don't make things so insurmountable, you whiny little bitches. They're not that hard. Oh my God, I have to watch a movie for 4 hours. No one's got a fucking gun. I'm going to send the Joker to your house with a fucking gun if you complain about it again. That's what I'm going to do. And he's not going to give the reach around. Let's start ending the program now.
Wow.
We're going to start. Talk to us a little bit. Give us the pitch for Papers. Tell us where the future of the project's going, and let's send you out, letting them know where to find you.
Okay, so this is the last campaign. This is going to be my last Kickstarter for quite some time. Wrapping up the series, so we already have issues 1 to 3 already done. This Kickstarter is for issue number 4, and for the trade paperback, which we're going to be sending to distributors in the summer. So we have great variant covers by some industry legends. Here's some examples like Mike Ruth and Michael T. Gilbert, plus other ones like George Chorowski, Arnold Trinidad, Anthony Moore, again, Bill Maas, Marvin Mariano, Jonathan Dan. Oh, God, just so many. I'm also doing one-offs of some of my 3D cardboard art as just one-of-a-kind pieces, because this is what I love to do. And yeah, I'm just asking for people to just give this. Here's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Rock, Paper, Scissors one I did, and a sold-out Usagi versus Rock. But yeah, I'm just asking for people to, if you want to try something different and original, something crazy, and you're a fan of that kind of stuff, give Rock, Paper, Scissors and Stuff Wars a try. We have 40 backers, and we could always love more. But I do give some good stretch goals that are made by me. And I want to make sure that you get your value for what you can put into it. And from 5 to whatever, I appreciate all of you. I know that there's so many options out there.
Now, Lou, I know that you've got 7 days left on the campaign. Once the campaign is over, will people be able to purchase your books 1 through 4 and the trade paperback maybe on a website or elsewhere?
Yeah, I have a website called handmadecardboardinnovations.com. Handmadecardboardinnovations, all together.com. That's my personal website for Zelfa Comics. And I have issues 1 to 3 on there already. Issue number 4, by the time this is all done, because the campaign has succeeded in surpassing its goal, so it will be made. We're planning for August for it to come out. But yeah, issues 1 to 3 are available on my website, and some of the variant covers from previous editions. And then once everything is printed and done, I'll be moving everything over to handmadecardboardinnovations.com as well.
Perfect.
Now, let me quickly I'm going to put you on the spot. You have to make me this promise. I'll help you for the rest of the time you're a creator. If you make me this one promise, I'll have your back. When you make the cartoon, you have to demand that they at least ask Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to play Rock. You have to do that.
You know what? I would have no hesitations asking that. That would be amazing if I could get him to play the Rock. The Rock playing the Rock. Come on, that
would be amazing. Oh my God!
I will guarantee that I will ask that.
You can ask. I know you can't make him do it, but yeah, ask him.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on the program. You're welcome back anytime. We could try to get you on backer pause before this ends as well. I think you have to come on this Wednesday. You could tell me if you're free at 8:30 p.m. Eastern when we do it. You can find that, by the way, at comicadvocates.com as well. Right now it's on the list. please back this one. This one looks so interesting. I'm going to be backing it today. I hadn't gotten to it yet because I had a crazy week, but I'll get there. Now, C, did you have anything else to ask? Because you seem to know a lot about him that I didn't even realize that was really cool. Thank you for all that stuff you brought up today.
Oh yeah, no, well, some of he also says it on his Kickstarter. Find out about him on his his Kickstarter. Sorry, so I was just checking it out. I was like, wow, this is cool. I'm looking at him behind him, and he's got my whole childhood back there. So
yeah, that just shows this is what gets me through my day. The collectible stuff. This is my childhood.
Yeah, I see like Bucky O'Hare back there. I remember old Bucky O'Hare, and then you got Gonzo, and then the Crow up there. I was like, golly, look at this. Look at this. You've been collecting for a while. And then, of course, the Cabbage Patch doll. Oh, my gosh, I remember that.
No, like I said, I got into a conversation with some other friends, and it was like, we're talking about, another blog that contacted me. And I was like, what were your inspirations? What did you watch in the 80s? And my answer was everything. I didn't care if it was Care Bears, Strawberry Shortcake, and Glowworms, or Cops, Bionic Six, and Silverhawks. I watched everything back then.
Yeah, see, and my siblings and I think we had to take turns holding the aluminum foil rabbit ears on the TV. So that was before cable. So, but you're right, we watched everything, and then we went outside and we were playing outside until the sun went down.
My Saturdays were so structured from 6 a.m. with Rocket Robin Hood all the way to 12. You watch wrestling at 12 to 1. You go outside. Play until 6, lights come on, you come back in, then you get caught up on some of the other cartoons, and then when my parents are busy, then I watch some Benny Hill, which I wasn't supposed to watch. And,
now it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Until this moment, why? Now I get it. Now I get it. All right, guys. C, tell them where they can find you.
Thank you for this. Thank you for bringing me on.
Oh yeah, we're glad to have you.
This was fun. This was really fun.
Okay, of course, I've seen Michael Lanning. You can find me on Facebook. Check out my regular Facebook. Of course, I do have the artist C. Michael Lanning on there. Go like that page. I do have Twitter, C. Michael Lanning, and of course, Instagram. There's too many I things out there. I wanted to say Indiegogo, but I'm not on there yet. Of course, you can also check me out. Tomorrow, we're doing Geek Speak. We'll be talking to the Kablam publishers about their publishing things, and Tommy Florimonte is kind of a cool guy to have on.
Kablam publisher or printer? Did they become a publisher?
Printer. Well, there's a whole story behind that. But Kablam printer, excuse me. And then, of course, Weekend at next Friday. So.
All right. And doesn't Silverline have a Kickstarter right now?
I want to say it ended, huh?
No. Oh, it's ending tonight, as a matter of fact, 10:45.
Oh, all right. We'll go check out that.
It's called Silverline Double Feature, Twilight, Grimm, and Bear Rush, and that's on to tonight, 10:45. Meredith, you're up.
All right, you guys. So you can follow me on linktree.com/MEREJ99. It's got all of my links. It'll have the link to Continuum Comics. It'll have a link to Ragin, which is something that Nita and I will be doing. Hey, you know what? Tonight we're going to be on ComCon 12 with Pops Van Zandt. So tune in tonight, 8:30 Eastern. We'll be on ComCon, and just linktree.com. Let Rob's stock increase with that.
Please. I have stock in Linktree. She's been helping out. I have chainlinks.site if you want to see the things. I do want to just say a few things before we go. Today seemed to be a little more passionate on my behalf today, and that's because I got to taste being back at a show. I got to taste being back and I love it. I love every ounce of it. And then when you go to social media and you see people whining about the things that are so silly, you start to realize that we can all forget doing better. Let's just get back to like a basic level. Let's just get back like we were talking about today. I grew up in a different time period. Like, I was busy. I keep myself busy. So many people are out there trying to waste their time on so many things. Take stock in your life right now. Look about how you're spending your time. Look how you spend too much time on your phone when you're near your kid, and understand what you're teaching them. When your kid sees you on your phone, instead of engaging with them, they now think that the phone is more important than them. We are raising a generation that thinks phones are more important than our children. Let that sink into you for a second and realize, take your kid out. Spend a lot of time with them. Show them how to cook. Show them how to change the tire. Show them how to do everything they have to. And when it comes to being in an industry like ours, earn your place. Be respectful. Be there every day to learn about the history of comics. You didn't just invent it. I don't care that your friend told you that that's okay. Let me tell you, lettering, and I talked to Meredith about this recently. I can tell when we were doing a lettering, I said, this is something someone's going to bitch about. This is something that's against the rule. This is something you actually have to change because it doesn't work. And there was 3 different levels there. And I had to tell you, have to sit there and know that oh, you can't do that. Bullshit. I will pull out where they've done it already. And the people who are telling you can't do it are not gods. No one's a god. Like we said today, go out and create something new. It's still possible. The people who are telling you can't create anything new, that's because they can't create anything new. That's because all they see is Batman and then make a character called Batwinger. You know, like there's a reason Batman's still around, and it's not because he was the best character ever. It's because the fans made him the best character ever. The fans kept demanding more. The fans kept leveling up. The fans wanted more content. Don't ever forget that truth. It's about the fans. So interact with your fans. Be good to your fans. Go out there and do things with your fans. Talk to them. Go to store signings. Sit there and be appreciative. I sat around and talked to anyone who would talk to me, and it didn't matter if they weren't talking about my comic. I talked to them about anything. My voice is sore because I spent my day yesterday talking to people about comic books. Wear your heart on your sleeve. And if you're just in this industry to make money, I have no problem with that, but then don't tell other people how they have to create. That is the moment where you cross the line. Don't call comic books storyboards. I will come to your house. I will come to your house. I will get in the van and come to your house, or at least threaten it in a messenger, and someone will screenshot it and show the world. And for those who take this video out of context and show me, I just want to say thank you. I like the press and publicity. You've all been great. I appreciate you all. It's time for me to go spend time with my little boy. So we're out of here, and on the way out today, we'll play. Let me see if we have something. We'll play oh, Meredith, you haven't seen this, but I'm gonna play the new CNW intro. It's brand new, just made today, and it has just a touch of jazz hands that Meredith might notice. I'm in the wrong room. Hold on. Sorry. My bad. Wrong room. Such a build-up.
Difficulties.
Such a tease.
I've heard of false starts, but false endings? What the?
Oh, I mean CNW. That's why this is weekended. This is actually for the weekended show. Right. I haven't seen it yet. Here we go. Makes more sense now. Welcome to Weekended. But before you go and relax this weekend or head to a comics event, let's get you in to know of all the comics news that came over the Comics News Wire this week, that turned heads and comics pages in this comic book industry. And now to our anchors to give you the news you need to know.